So,
Hello,
hello, hello.
it's me. I'm just playing.
It's me. Good morning, everybody. Martin Luther King's birthday? Not,
See,
is it really his birthday, or do they move it around constantly?
I think it's his birthday.
Hey, Google.
It's possible his
What's
birthday.
Martin
I think
Luther
his
King's
birthday is
birthday?
January 15th.
Martin Luther
Traditionally.
King Jr. was born on January 15th.
Yeah, his birthday's January 15th. I knew that.
So Saturday.
I knew
Saturday.
that. Yeah,
We've
so
added.
Saturday.
We've added a new member of our staff today. Hey, Google. Say hello.
Hope you're having a great day. How can I help?
See, Google's here with us all the time.
All the time.
Sure, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
She said no, she's not here with us all the time. She's only here when she wants to be.
Yup.
Your current location is 586.
Hey now.
Hey, let's not.
I'm not going to talk to Google anymore. She's
Let's
giving
not
out
do
all
that.
kinds of
Let's
weird
not do that.
information. Man.
Google's trying to dox us, man.
Man. I know, right? Google's like, we're going to get him out there now. Haha, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Alpha. We live in an interesting world.
No, I thought it was like boring.
It's Monday morning. There may be some sarcasm today. When we look at the changes that have taken place in our country because of the lessons of Martin Luther King, and I include in that Malcolm X, oddly, and then Mr. Rogers.
Who's Mr. Never mind.
Tom
You guys
Hanks.
will not make fun of
Tom
me in the
Hanks.
comments.
You're just old.
Tom
That's
Hanks, yeah.
You're just so young that you don't
No,
realize.
I know who Mr. Rogers is because I used to watch him
I
as a
know.
kid. But yeah,
So
caught myself.
we raise all of these people up on two pillars
Okay.
that I think makes the entry for us to want to change the world. Like, there's all kinds of, we create these barriers. Like, well, you can't change the world, you can only change yourself. You know what? Those people are legends amongst philosophical thought or societal thought.
Right.
You know, I'm never going to reach that pinnacle. And then we get our Greta Thunbergs that are like, oh, you aren't? Really? So this isn't about the other people being legends. This is about you being scared, and I'm not.
Yeah.
That I got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the motivation behind these people that we reverence so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Forefathers in general. Pick your society, pick your nationality, pick your... We create a barrier between ourselves and them as these iconic, bigger-than-life people.
Mm-hmm.
But they are just people.
Yeah, definitely. I can think of amazing people that did amazing things that also did terrible things and had terrible traits. But like that's how it is, you know. That's humans. We kind of suck and we're kind of awesome at the same time.
So,
you know,
does cancel culture do us a disservice?
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, if we write off, most people do a variety of stupid things and a variety of not stupid things. If we focus on their stupid things, we ignore the other things.
Right. We ignore the good that they can do.
Right.
But if we focus on the good that they can do, we ignore the damage that they may have done. I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on... to some extent, what they're known for. Because there's infamous people that did good things. And there's really good people that did really bad things, you know? Like, it's a spectrum to some extent.
I think that's true.
I think the phrase "no one's perfect" really sums it up.
Well,
Like,
should anybody...
puts a nice little bow on it. You know?
Is part of the problem that at the point you go, I'm perfect, you stop growing.
Yeah, of course.
Or at the point we define somebody as perfect, it holds back our growth.
Right. Well,
Do, do, do,
you
do,
can't really
do.
learn if you don't really know their mistakes. I think the phrase "no one's perfect" really sums it up.
Ju-
That's gonna loop.
Oh, who you
Yeah, that's gonna
telling?
loop.
I'm killing.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't do that.
But what I'm really trying to get. There we go. Well, the problem was the other day we were actually, as people may have noticed, we moved last week. We started off in one spot. We're slowly moving towards being more out there. So, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
the show also appears on the Where's the Line, not only on the Studio 586B page, but it appears on the Zen and the Art of Madness page as well, the book
Okay.
page. So that any additional, but sometimes what that means is people say things in one place and I don't see them.
That's fine. You know, it is what it is. I guess I don't know.
Well, no, it isn't what it is. It means that on my
Gotta
phone,
switch.
I've got one,
Yeah.
and for those of you paying attention, doesn't it look massive? All three screens going like crazy?
Yep.
But so that I'm trying to keep track of both so that I can, just in case I miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss any of you.
That's the hope.
Wow. So back to idolizing people. And trying to figure out how we let ourselves be as great as we could be. So what moves us forward into the arena? So that when we look at Martin Luther King, you know, he's a minister, he's already drawn to communicating to people.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume based on how I feel he was driven by an inward calling and need that felt like he had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
On top of feeling like he had to do something, he felt like he had to do it in a specific way.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would claim he didn't make mistakes.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Or that, and that's not taking away anything from Martin Luther King. That's trying to, we have to come to terms with we are all equally powerful.
What do you mean by that?
That because no two perspectives are the same. In sharing and raising a perspective,
Mm-hmm.
you're adding to the conversation.
Right.
I'm not going to have all the answers.
Right.
You're not going to have all the answers. Martin Luther King isn't going to have all the answers. Malcolm X isn't going to have all the answers. And obviously, we're using those two specifically to do a little bit because we want to honor Martin Luther King today.
Right. To some extent, you gotta pick and choose, and it makes it hard to know what's good and what's not, in my opinion. But you still have to pick and choose, because you have to look at, okay, this person did these things and it affected these people in this way, and that had an overall better effect for the people that came after, whereas this person did these things and it did not have a better effect for the people that came after.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
like, to some extent, you kind of have to like pick and choose what's, I mean, I don't know.
Well, so if things fall into, do you define somebody by their mistakes?
No.
Do you define somebody by their triumphs?
No.
So that in the end, we are all capable of such things.
You have to some extent, I think you have to define people by what they define themselves by. Well, to a certain extent.
How do you know that?
To a like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
That, I mean, perspective is perspective is perspective.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to define people, in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're trying to define
it's hard to
people.
define people.
Maybe
it's
you
not
can't
a thing
define
that you
people.
can do. I don't think.
Well, because A, you don't have their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to meet them where they are. You can't. I think Martin Luther King understood that.
Yeah, probably.
Now, I think all of the leadership knew and spoke openly to the people involved about the fact that it was going to be bad.
What do you mean? What was going to be bad?
Okay, so
what are we talking about here?
let's talk bridges.
We speaking specifically.
That the point was you were creating something for everybody in the country to see.
Okay.
That moving with purpose,
Okay.
but with dignity, is my understanding of, okay, we are not going to raise a hand.
You're speaking about the civil rights movement
Right.
specifically. Okay.
Well,
I was trying to figure out what you were talking
Let's
about
be honest,
exactly.
that's the Martin Luther
Yeah.
King side of the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Malcolm eventually gets to the point of going, no, this isn't going to work.
Malcolm has a different perspective. Yes.
Well, but then he leaves that perspective.
But then he leaves that perspective.
Right,
Yes.
right.
In the last year of his life, he changes his ways and pretty much starts to agree with MLK, or at least starts to agree more with MLK. Which what that is I don't. Okay, I will say I'm basing this off of the movie. I haven't studied Malcolm X as much as I could have, but from what I understand, he goes to Mecca, and he finds out, oh snap, there are white Muslims.
Well, right.
So, to some extent, if there are white Muslims, that means that there are white people that agree with me. Which means maybe not all white people are the devil. So then he comes back and he starts talking about this. He starts talking about, hey, maybe we shouldn't be calling white people the devil. And basically, the church turns on him and he goes his own way.
Right.
And yeah.
So I'm going to bring up a quote from someone who was associated with the Black Lives Movement. I don't know who it was. It was on NPR. I'm not judging. I'm a big proponent of the BLM movement. But I heard a phrase that broke my heart.
Okay.
I'm not saying there aren't any good white people.
I'll be honest, if a phrase starts off that way, if a phrase starts off with "I'm not saying," it's exactly what they're saying.
Well,
It's exactly what they're saying. Like,
okay, so my rule with Worcestershire
sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
My outlook about how you define whether or not a thought is racist is you put whatever you consider yourself in the spot you're about to say something about somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you would be offended if they said that about you, the statement you're making is racist.
That I'm not sure that that's a good marker, and I'll say that why, because there are some people that hate their own race. So.
Oh, okay. No, I don't mean. Okay.
I don't know.
I apologize.
Because to some extent,
one also has to be rational.
Right.
The point is. Okay, put whichever race you like best in that.
I could always get around that argument of, treat people how you want to be treated. I could get around that argument with.
I don't agree.
I want to be treated terribly.
Like that's not reasonable.
Well, I don't mean that. I don't mean that like that. But I mean.
That's not healthy, and that's not a compassionate thought on your end for yourself.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't think the others outside of you. That doesn't define them. That just defines an issue you're going through, as opposed to that getting you out of that.
Right.
In my head, like I don't think of that as a reasonable. Like, okay, I'm a white person that hates white people, so when I put what bad white people are in there, then I'm okay with it. Put in whatever.
Well, my point is
put in whatever group you support.
Someone could look at that statement and not analyze their own actions through a justification.
I don't think there's
it's
any
maybe
way.
A loophole. I
think as long as you insert every race in there you can think of and find the one. If there's one in there that offends you, if somebody said that, then it's wrong. It's that sounds like sophistry to me. that it's playing with the words in the hope of changing them, but I don't think you can. I think that no matter how we define people, in defining people, we take something from them. If you're this way, that means you're this. But that's not true.
Right.
That isn't how it works. Nobody is one thing because of another specifically. It's not like, oh, I grew up this, so I'm that.
Right.
That takes away personal responsibility for your actions.
Right.
Well, but everybody does it. And I think, and so then Martin Luther King stands up to go, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with what's right.
Right.
Everybody does it, doesn't define right.
Right.
That's the excuse that lets you get away with it when you know something's wrong. If I ever hear anybody go, well, yeah, but everybody, I go, oh, so you know it's wrong. That if you didn't know it was wrong, you wouldn't have to use the oh, well, but everybody, because you've defined everybody as doing something wrong, and that's why it's okay for you to do it.
Well, the whole point of the but is to say this is wrong, but it's an affirmative statement more than anything else.
I don't think a but's as affirmative.
Well, no, I'm saying, well,
Though I do like big ones, I cannot
what
lie.
you're saying, like, so you say this thing is wrong, right? And then someone says, well, everybody does it. That well, soon as they say that, it's an affirmative statement of what you just said. I'm saying something else to detract from what you
I think that's
said.
a really bad habit.
To ignore what you said. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working your way around it so you don't have to deal with it.
Yes.
So I'm a big one on the idea that no one is defined as good or bad. That every day we wake up with a responsibility to decide. And that taking away that responsibility, going, oh, this person's a good person or this person's a bad person, nullifies an intimate responsibility we have every day.
Sometimes I don't even know why we talk about good or bad sometimes. Because in my head, like, I can only think of people as human. I don't know, like, I think of the things that people do as good or bad, maybe, but, like...
Hitler. Good person, bad person.
Human.
Oh, we're going to get in trouble. You're right. I agree.
I mean, he did a lot of bad shit, yes, but human.
Did he believe...
At the end of the day, human. Like, humans are capable of terrible things, but we're also capable of amazing things. That's, like, the part that you gotta accept. You gotta accept that every person, no matter what type of ideas you might have about them or what type of ideas they might try to portray about themselves, they're human. Like, there's no way around that. It is what it is.
Well, I think on top of it all, Hitler's off the... Yeah, we're not going to talk anymore about Hitler, I promise. Bad dude, but the point is, human dude.
Right.
That everybody's human.
Right.
Good or bad. That's kind of the reason you almost have to bring up Hitler in relationship to Martin Luther King. Wow, that's a sentence. Extremes
to some extent,
of pedestals.
To some extent, I almost think the question is always irrelevant.
But do you follow me? The extremes of the two pedestals.
Right.
That they used. So the amazing thing about Mussolini is, for the first time ever in Italy's history,
the trains ran on time.
Trains ran on time. We're gonna give him credit for the trains running on time.
I saw that on TikTok. They were like the only time the trains ran on time was when Mussolini was in power.
Oh my God, there are so many beautiful members of my family.
It's so bad. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's kind of. So the point is, though, so if we want to rise to greatness, it takes real decisions.
Yeah. It takes time as well.
It takes being a real human.
I'd say it takes time.
I don't mean it. Okay, you're thinking of greatness as far as fame.
No. I don't mean greatness as far as fame. I just mean as far as being a great person.
I think
it takes time. I
Why?
don't think anyone wakes up a great person. I think it takes time and it takes effort.
Okay, I think it takes effort. I think it takes practice.
It takes sitting down with the idea of, what am I going to do today? What am I going to get done? What am I going to do tomorrow? To some extent, I can't control what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I'm going to worry about what I'm going to do today. What am I going to do today? Every day, you have to ask yourself that question. And every day, you have to choose to reevaluate what you did in the past and do better.
Well, no, I agree with that.
You know?
But I think maybe greatness is a bad word. That I don't mean great. It's like, as much as we're talking about Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
I think of it as rising to be the best person we can be every day. And I think the first steps are, first you have to be honest with yourself about maybe where your motivation comes from. So many people may know that I don't have a particular faith. I don't profess a. Now I think there's wisdom to be found everywhere. And I often take sort of a Buddhist outlook, because in my head Buddhism is more of a path or a teaching than a faith. It doesn't have you have to have faith in this. The answers come from inside. It's a little different than, hey, God, can you fix this? It's a looking inside, figuring out how to fix yourself.
I get that.
And in my head, the decision you make every day is to meet your world compassionately. And in that is greatness. That if you are compassionate to yourself and to others and to the living things around you as a natural state of being, that I think that's the pinnacle. Greatness as far as, do you know me, or am I famous, or I like to say it's not the ducats you stack, it's the ripples you leave in the pond.
Right. In my head, whether or not people know me is irrelevant. Whether or not I'm a good person to the people that I'm around, and whether or not people, to some extent, whether or not people know. Okay, whether or not people know who I am is irrelevant.
Okay.
It's whether or not I make the attempt to.
You're young. You got a little bit of a fame bug. It's okay to have some of the fame bug. I'm not.
It's not
trying
just
to
that.
separate them.
It's not. It's like, I want people to see me for who I am.
Ooh, okay.
And I want people to see me as a person who has high expectations of themselves. I don't know. Like, it's hard to put what I want people to see into words, I guess.
Okay. Man, I'm not sure where you went with that. But
Me neither.
okay.
I lost track completely.
You did.
Lost track. Trains off the rails.
So I think that what we all fight for is a place for us to exist as us. The thing that tears us apart is, oh man, I got to put on a mask. People are going to judge me. I got to put on this mask. People are going to judge me. I need, that it's easier to go like this. That as long as nobody sees me for who I really am,
that's horrifying.
I can hide behind it.
I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
But it really is. Okay,
That's
so now
horrifying.
Stop for a minute and realize this is what you're seeing in everybody. Every day, most people are giving you this.
Guys, I'm gonna have nightmares about this. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely gonna have nightmares about this.
I'm not putting.
And what you're saying is valid.
That.
Oh, it's.
Damn, it dawns on me. I can put it on that easy, man. I just put the glasses on and it's. Well, but the point is that we're all wearing masks every day. That what builds our level of uncomfort is that on top of desperately needing a place to exist as ourselves, we don't want to be judged for it. We're scared. That if you put yourself out there, what if people see you?
Yeah.
What if you see you? What if you have to see you for who you are? And then what if other people saw you for who you are?
I think to some extent it's hard to be anyone else but yourself. And I think the more you struggle against it, the more lost you become. Like if you've ever noticed, like there's a lot of people out there who are really lost, and I think the reason why they're so lost is that they're trying to be something other than themselves. They're trying to force themselves into some kind of box. Like whatever that box may be, whatever it is that they are going against that's in their nature.
They want to find a place they fit.
Yes.
And oftentimes we're judging everything about ourselves, and it's never gonna work. I was gonna put it up there like, scary. That's okay. The part that tears us apart is that we want to fit, we want to exist as ourselves, but man, we don't want to be judged for the things we think.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I think we're all in terror and living. Look around us. Look at everybody on some form of antidepressant, some form of self-medication, something to deal with the fact they're not comfortable in their own skin.
I think life is a mixture of comfort and uncomfort. Words.
Well, that was
Life
uncomfortable.
is a mixture of being comfortable and being uncomfortable. And to some extent, people sometimes feel more comfortable in certain situations and they feel less comfortable in others. And I think the goal of life to some extent should be trying to find some sort of comfort. Trying to find more and more comfort, I think.
Comfort. What gives comfort?
What gives comfort?
My argument is that the most comfortable moment, okay. So I practice mindfulness, not well. And I work on meditation, not well. In the end, the moment of birth is where you get to be you. The ultimate comfort, the ultimate moment to live in the day is where you don't have to think about, am I getting it right?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think living compassionately is the same as am I getting it right?
Mm-hmm.
That when you come down to what was Martin Luther King fighting for, he was fighting for a literal space for people to exist as who they are, without judgment.
To some extent, yeah.
Based on just simply who they are.
Definitely.
That I don't see the goals as separate from my thoughts. I see it as, yes, this.
Yeah.
That how do we stand up to the point that beyond even racial divides, there are 7.5 billion different people on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can put any of them in this group of people is this, and this color people is that, and if you have this genitalia, it means this, and if you like that genitalia, it means that, it's bullshit. We trap people into ways where they just can't even exist as themselves, and meanwhile we do it to ourselves. That we are very much the caterpillar who has built his own cage, who has reached a point in life where he has built a defense against everything around him, and is lost inside it, changing, with just no idea of what's coming, no idea of the idea that this beautiful thing exists. No, trapped inside there is a caterpillar who has no idea what's going on, who literally has to struggle for his life, because that's what pushes the blood into his wings so he can fly someday. And so we get caught between we're a caterpillar and a butterfly. Because the caterpillar doesn't know. And then if we hide forever in the cage, we're never a butterfly. You're never going to fly if you hide inside.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm super lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm super lost.
So we all want to exist.
Yeah.
The hard part is, who are we?
Okay. Who are we?
Okay.
Something.
You know what?
We're all something.
I used to have a great quote about something, something, something that meant something. And that's something. That the struggles throughout humanity,
Mm-hmm.
we can go back past Martin Luther King,
Mm-hmm.
are about the basics of life. People wanting to feel like life is stable so they can exist as them. That what Martin Luther King was fighting for specifically was freedom in America.
Okay.
For all people to exist as people. Yet this is something we still stumble over every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just with racial situations, with LGBTQI, bing, man, they keep adding letters. But the point is, every time you take a group and go, boom, this defines them.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, this defines them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, as much as he defines the movement, doesn't define the movement, if you will. That he is the impetus, or he is the voice, but it really is the combined
Mm-hmm.
need to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing globally?
What do you mean, what are we doing globally?
So-
Like, we're not doing nothing, really. We're chilling.
We're chilling.
Yeah.
No, we are not
No,
chilling.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
It-
There's a lot of people doing a lot of things for, like, equality and shit. There's a lot of
You
people.
know, I ain't pooting on the Ritz, but I'm pooping on the... pooping on...
That was
the
a stretch.
general
That
idea-
one was a stretch. It took you a
Putin
second.
And pooping? I don't know. That... How do we all see each other enough? When I was in business, as opposed to whatever the hell this is, I used to make a point of the idea people had to be people before they were money.
Okay.
It was the greatest. It was probably one of the bigger falling outs with that group of people.
Mm-hmm.
There was a particular outlook of no, 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 no. This is what, and I had built an outlook
Mm-hmm.
over years that no, the most important thing is we are the last person the customer sees, and that our job is to see them
Right.
as people.
Right.
That every day we should go out and see people, as other lives.
Okay.
And now I sound like William Shatner, and I don't know why.
Totally random, but okay.
Spock, we can't get past this. Sorry.
That's okay.
I find that I can see the world in the eyes of any living thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I can see the universe. If you call the universe God, or if you call the God universe or Allah or whatever, I don't know how to define it. But I see this amazing potential in everything.
I see potential in other people, but to some extent, it's limited.
I'm harder on myself.
I'm very limited. I see more potential in myself than I see in other people, but that's not really because of the fact that I don't try to look in other people. It's mostly like, I don't know, I don't like, sometimes I get myself in trouble when I like see who a person could be and I start treating them that way as opposed to who they are. Like, does that make any sense?
No, I get that. So for me, I can see the glory in everything around me,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the imposter within.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes me so interested in looking at Martin Luther King today specifically
Mm-hmm.
is coming to terms with my own humanity. So that when I I give the right to others to be human in the hopes that it's easier, not that to some extent by giving others the right to be human, hopefully I can find my own right to be human. That as opposed to thinking that somehow it has to be perfect every day, I have to just move forward every day and try and wake up and decide that I'm going to meet the world compassionately. I have a grandson that I share a thought with regularly that he shares back. And it's that do not ever think the day is bad. The day by its mere existence was good. It was never on the day. It was always on you to find the good in it. So if you look at your days to find the worst things going on, they will be the worst days. If you look at your days and find the gratitude of the good things, it was a good day.
I don't think
day.
I don't think it was a good day or a bad day. I think it was a day. In every thought that I have, I think there's duality pretty much. So
No, I think there's always. I believe in duality.
Yeah.
So which one are you seeking?
So to some extent, I'm trying to learn how to see things for what they are.
Okay.
And I think one step that I have to take is I have to see each day as a day. Like, okay, if something happens and say this leads to a spiral emotionally where my entire day starts to feel bad. When I look back on that day, I have to think, okay, I had a bad day. Wait, what good things happened today? This good thing happened today. This good thing happened today. This good thing happened today. Maybe my conclusion should be that I had a day. It was another day. I'm breathing. The sun came up. Nothing. I didn't walk across the street and get hit by a car. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that. There's a whole list of things that happened or didn't happen that are not necessarily good or bad, but they're just things that happen. Like, I don't know. Like, trying to look at the day as another day, as opposed to a good or a bad day, may lead to more gratitude.
See, in my head,
If that makes sense. I don't know.
every day is good
Okay.
because you've made it another day.
Uh-huh.
That by definition it's a good day because you're not on this side of the
'Cause
daisies,
you're not-
you're on that side
yeah.
of the daisies. You still
Right.
have the potential to make the day. So I like the idea of my daughter came up with, you got to take the day in quarters. Sometimes you have a bad quarter, man. You do a
That's a
little
good
basketball.
point.
You know,
That's a
you
good
get to
point,
halftime.
yeah.
Sometimes you got to give yourself a pep talk. Be
You
like,
had a
oh
bad
man, we
quarter.
gotta. Okay, guys, we gotta get back in
That's
there,
a
man.
good
It's
one.
time. Oof, 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 oof. But you know, to some extent,
I think on the bad days you got to reset every once in a while. Like, that's a fair. That's a nice way of looking at it. I
Okay.
like that. Like, you had a bad quarter, just reset it. You know, like, reset. Let's get back into it. I like that.
I don't believe in bad days because I believe they can feel like bad today. But I have discovered that in all of the weeds behind me that felt awful, I can I can go through it now, and none of it's the lessons. I was learning. On the worst day, I was at school. Rain makes the flowers grow. Struggle rings the school bell. Teaches us. So that a bad day was a good day. Within reason. But that life brings to us what we bring to it.
Right.
If I don't bring a good day to the day, I have to be looking for the positive.
Right.
I had a friend in therapy that took great notes. And so every time we'd run into a conversation, just like something, oh, what did we say the other day? And she always had the answer.
Mm-hmm.
She always knew. And what I realized was the problem was I just wasn't taking note.
We weren't taking note of the good days and the bad days. Stuff
A,
like
I
that.
was trying to define them by days, define them by seconds.
Mm.
I argue if you don't think there's any good, or that, oh man, every day is going to be bad, but you buy a lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people buy lottery tickets. There are lots of people out there who buy lottery tickets. If you buy a lottery ticket, there is some part of you that believes there's a 1 in a billion. I'm just picking a random number. I haven't done the math.
Right.
There's a 1 in a billion chance you could have a good day.
Right.
So if you start with accepting one of the possibilities.
Step 1 to cure depression: buy a lottery ticket every day.
Well, no, but actually, don't buy the lottery tickets.
No,
Poor
don't
tax.
do that. Don't do that.
But that if you start, I had to rewire my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my lowest point almost a year ago to the day.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a couple months. But anyways, I had to wire my brain to believe that one of the possibilities, not one of the assurances,
Mm-hmm.
not one of the definitions, one of the possibilities was tomorrow might be a better day.
Right.
I would not know what that even means, but that, and tomorrow could be a better day, and I might not notice.
Mm-hmm.
That the reality was, the problem was whether or not I noticed,
Mm-hmm.
and how I defined it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that if you began believing, oh wow, there were some good seconds, and then you believe, wow, there were some good minutes,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much like planting a seed and it growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's all about planting seeds. It's not the ducats I stack, it's the ripples I leave in the pond. Martin Luther King didn't have money. It wasn't like he was loaded down
Not really.
from his process. I'm not saying that he was no Jesse Jackson. No. Sorry, Jesse. But the ripples he left in the pond, whether or not we forget his name,
Mm.
the ripples still are there.
Mm-hmm.
That in our life, the ripples we leave are not defined by whether or not every day we got it right.
Right.
There will be days we don't get it right. There will be days we hold ourselves down for not getting it right. There will be days we beat ourselves up. None
Right.
of that, though, is acting compassionately to ourselves. First, we have to find a place for us to exist. And in finding that, we have to have it be okay for everybody else to have a place to exist.
I think first you have to make it okay to be yourself, and you have to be more okay with, okay, I have to breathe, exist, live, do what I need to do, and then I need to extend my compassion to include other people. It's okay to worry about yourself for a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
It's okay to, after you feel that you've sufficiently worried about yourself, then go out and worry about other people.
I don't think you can separate the two. I think living compassionately is a whole bag. That if I make rules for myself, or if I have things that I notice other people do that are harmful, I have to make it a rule that those things are not okay.
Right.
That in getting hurt, I don't see a reason to strike back. This may sound familiar from some other phase. My job is to turn the other cheek. That isn't malice, that's pain. That all I can do is lead by example. No, all I can do is live by example, not lead by example.
Right.
The leading by example suggests judgment. I can't judge. My daughter's out there going, "Oh, really? You can't judge people now. Damn, I guess I grew up in the wrong era." That even in judging yourself, man, I don't know. In my head, all of the greatest teachers have taught us compassion, to love. I'm not good at loving myself. I'm not good at that part.
I'm pretty good at it. I just have to get a little bit better at loving other people.
I look with amazement on the other people in my life, on the glory that is this human existence. It touches me. I watch children, grandchildren struggle, and I have trouble not wanting to somehow change it. Somehow actively. Don't get me wrong, Greta Thunberg touched me deeply.
That's a strange sentence.
I know, right? It felt strange
Yeah.
coming out.
This is not the type of role you want to be on.
No, this is
No.
not the role I want to be on.
No.
That the point of our children are so moved by the anxiety and worry of our world that they are not, I want to say not living as children, but I think they are. I think they're showing us how to move. You know?
I think we're improving to some extent. I think the world's in a better place than it was 2 seconds ago. I think we're improving.
We got a lot of work, and the news
No,
says otherwise.
I still think we got a lot of work to do, but I think we're improving overall.
I'd say I'd say we're falling back. I'd say the last 2.5, 3 years, we have discounted the value of human life, which we were already kind of doing anyways. I'm of the belief I need every perspective so we can see the world the way it truly is. Racism was on the rise. People don't believe in science anymore. Russia's invaded 2 countries. China's doing weird stuff as well. No, I don't. I think as much as I would like to buy into that, that's not where we're going right now.
I disagree.
I appreciate that. That gives me some hope because I have to do something.
I feel like my generation is more compassionate than the generations that came before. And I think that's a mark of the future is going to be better than the past.
I think every generation thinks that.
Probably, yeah.
And it's only as meaningful as the times. We're getting ready to either find a solution or lose our species on a grand level. Do I think that we will be wiped out? No. And I'm not a big, end of the world guy or any of that. We're in a worse place than we were when I was a kid. We were striving towards something and things were moving in a direction. I think that was the end of the hippie wave, and then eventually the hippies sold out. And not to say all of them did.
To some extent, I think that's a perspective thing.
My mother is really glad to know you're feeling positive about it. Damn, that Matt's so negative. I don't. It's not meant. Oh God, it comes across as so negative, but it's like people go, "Oh, Matt, you're so negative." I'm like, no, actually not. My problem is I can see patterns. My problem is much of it is numbers for me. And then people go, well, that's negative. And I'm going, no, it's a positive number. But it's just numbers. You know, that I can see where this pattern goes. And in my head, if we don't quickly make a side run, we're screwed.
I don't think we're screwed. I just don't.
What scientific information backs up what you think?
None at all. That's why I love my opinion.
I love that. You know what? My head's in the sand, and I like it.
Hey, man, the emu's got a point. That's all I'm saying.
The emus won.
The emu's won.
When in doubt, the emus won. And nature's gonna win. That
I'm more hopeful than I used to be, and I think that to some extent, if that means that I don't look at every situation and immediately assume something bad, I think that's a good thing. I don't want to like, I don't know. It's hard to decipher whether or not one should be negative or positive about a certain situation or about the way that things are going in the world. It's hard to discern that sometimes.
And so what I'm trying to bring out
Mm-hmm.
is no, I have hope. People are like, oh, you don't have any hope. I do, but I also see the writing on the wall.
Mm.
I'm here because there's a fire. You know, if there, that whether you talk about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, pick great leaders along the way who are imperfect. They saw a fire and couldn't stand by and watch. That doesn't mean I'm negative.
Mm-hmm.
That means I see the fire and it's not a little one.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
No, I definitely think that there are problems in the world. I just don't think that the problems are so bad to the extent that humans will be extinct or something like that. Like I don't see humans taking ourselves out. I don't see that happening. It's just
but we are right now. You can literally watch it happening. Seas rise. We're starting wars. Lots of people dead. We are literally doing it.
Maybe.
I believe in hope, but I believe in science. And if we just
I don't
put our heads in the
I'm
sand,
not saying I
won't.
don't believe. I'm not saying I don't believe in science or something like that. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I have more hope than I do doubt.
I have lots of hope.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's the problem. I can have hope
Mm-hmm.
and see a situation as having pluses and minuses.
Right.
Doesn't mean I'm literally in the arena trying to make this change.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, sea rise goes up, these islands go under.
I don't think it's all or nothing, is in my opinion. I just think...
So species will survive. How many are we allowed to kill? How many die?
I don't know.
So now do you see what the pandemic has taught me?
I don't know, man.
Well, no, but this is what the pandemic has taught me.
What?
Are we going to react as a world
Mm-hmm.
and go, how? We must do something about this because these people are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not. We have a
think
lesson in front of us.
I think we can only take it one problem at a time, to some extent.
Well, what about the fact that problems are going on all at the same time? It
We
sounds
have
like
to-
we got heads in our sand. Or
we
heads in
gotta
our sand, sands in our heads.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't contemplate on how to solve the problems of the world. I can only solve what I can solve, you know?
What did MLK do?
Solved what he could solve. I mean,
He didn't stay at home and solve what he
no,
could
he
solve.
didn't stay. I'm not saying
We have to rise. We have to rise. If we sit here with our heads in the sand,
I'm not saying you shouldn't rise. I'm not saying you shouldn't look to solve the problem.
but do you know what I mean? That if Martin Luther King teaches us anything,
Mm-hmm.
stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up again and again. Stand up. I can't deny the fires and stand up. That doesn't mean I don't have any hope. That doesn't mean I'm totally negative, Mom. I'm not. It means, though, that to live compassionately, I cannot sit and watch my neighbor's house burn down.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King Day. I have dreams too. Martin Luther King had a dream that we would all be able to come together. I really think that's possible. The first step is accepting individuality, which sounds counterpoint, but there are no straight lines or straight paths. I can't see where I'm going any more than I can look into the future, but I can try.
Mm-hmm.
And on this day, if Martin Luther King taught us anything, it's stand up.
And if at first
You
you
counted.
don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again.
We want to know who you are. We want to see you. 'Cause we love you. We do. Oh, as I try to make
Wait,
cool fade
the,
outs.
the thing's still in there. The poster's still there.
I know, I like it.
Okay.
I like the poster.
Okay.
Look at the poster stand out. Wow. Ooh, that poster's bad, man. That's... Anybody out there, I love you all. Jason, it's so good to hear you. Remember, every day is a struggle for all of us, all of you. The goal is every day we wake up and we face a new one and we get to define ourselves. You know what? Little yin, little yang, a little bit of everything. We're really just glad to be here with you. And we'll see you again tomorrow at noon.
Yep.
Noon?
Yep.
Every day, Monday through Friday?
Yep.
We're here noon to 1-ish?
Yep. Pretty
Ish,
much. Pretty
ish,
much.
Ish.
And
Ish.
Somewhat.
Ish.
Somewhat.
Also, you can find it on replays. You can
It'll be on YouTube. Yes.
hopefully up
Yes.
in the next day or two. Sorry about that. The weekend got a little away from us. Reality is, we too are waking up and living every day. We're hoping to bring maybe some new stuff to you this week. We're in talk with somebody we're hoping to bring in, and then maybe there'll be another show happening.
Yes. Hopefully.
Where's the line? Martin Luther King's birthday. Just good to have everybody here. Good to have so many people taking part in what we're doing.